Welcome to another deep dive, and today we're tackling something we all do, but maybe haven't thought about too strategically,
Uh-huh.
learning. We're
Yeah.
going way beyond the classroom today, using a chapter from a business textbook on organizational behavior
Okay.
to see how companies actually use the science of learning to boost employee performance.
It's fascinating when you think about it like that. We
Right.
always think about learning,
Yeah.
textbooks, lectures,
Yeah.
but businesses are implementing learning strategies all the time. They may not even realize it.
Exactly. So before we get into the real nitty-gritty of it all,
Uh-huh.
let's just start with the simple question.
Mm-hmm.
What is learning? I mean, we all kind of have an intuitive sense of it,
Yeah.
but how do the experts define it?
Well, the source material actually brings this up. The everyday understanding of learning is, oh, I did that in school.
Right.
But experts like Stephen P. Robbins
Oh,
and
wow.
Steers and Porter
Okay.
give us a more formal definition. Learning is a relatively permanent change in behavior
Right.
that occurs as a result of experience.
So not just a one-time thing.
Right. Yeah.
It's a change that sticks with us.
Yes.
Okay. What stands out to you about this definition in the context of how businesses approach learning?
Well, the thing about experience,
Mm-hmm.
for businesses, it means that just providing information isn't enough.
Right.
They need to create opportunities for employees to actually apply that knowledge, get feedback, refine their skills through real-world experiences.
So it's not enough to just read the manual or sit through a workshop.
Exactly.
It's about actually doing the thing, making mistakes, and learning from those mistakes.
Yeah.
Which, makes me think of this. The source breaks down the nature of learning into 5 key aspects. Do any of those jump out at you as particularly relevant to a business setting?
Absolutely. Reinforcement. It's all about how businesses can use rewards
Right.
and consequences
Right.
to shape employee behavior.
Yeah.
Think about bonuses
Yeah.
for exceeding those sales targets or promotions for the people who are constantly demonstrating leadership skills.
Oh, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because you can intellectually grasp a concept,
Right.
but the real learning, the change in behavior comes when there's something, tangible at stake.
Right.
Do you think this reinforcement aspect ties into any specific types of learning that businesses are using?
Definitely. The source material mentions a few, and one that comes to mind is operant conditioning.
Oh, okay.
The idea that behaviors are strengthened through rewards,
Uh-huh.
positive reinforcement, or by removing something unpleasant, negative reinforcement.
Oh, operant conditioning. It takes me back to Psych 101.
Yeah.
But it's more than just a theory, right? How does this actually play out in a real workplace setting?
Okay, so let's say a company wants to encourage their employees to arrive on time.
Right.
Now, instead of just issuing a memo, they could implement a system where employees who constantly clock in on time
Right.
are entered into a raffle for a prize.
Right.
That positive reinforcement can be a really powerful motivator.
Instead of just punishing lateness, they're focusing on rewarding the desired behavior.
Exactly.
It just feels, I don't know, more human,
Yes.
less like we're all rats in a maze.
Exactly. And it doesn't always have to be a tangible reward either.
Right.
Praise from a manager recognition at a team meeting,
Mm-hmm.
even just that sense of accomplishment that you get
Yeah.
when you master a new skill,
Yeah.
those can all act as positive reinforcement.
That makes sense. So we've got operant conditioning, which is really about shaping behavior through rewards,
Yes.
consequences, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But what other types of learning stand out to you from the source material, particularly from a business perspective?
Well, observational learning is huge.
Okay.
Think about how new employees learn so often
Okay.
by watching their colleagues, their more experienced colleagues.
Right.
They pick up on the company culture, communication styles,
Yeah.
even specific job skills,
Yeah.
just by observing how things are done around them.
That is interesting because it's not just about those formal training programs. It's about creating an environment where learning just happens organically
Yes.
through observation and interaction.
Exactly.
It makes me think of the saying, monkey see, monkey do,
Yeah.
but in a professional context, of course.
Yeah.
So companies can actually be more deliberate about this, right?
Right.
By implementing mentoring programs
Yes.
or maybe creating opportunities for shadowing in different departments.
Exactly.
So they're actively facilitating that observational learning rather than just leaving it to chance.
Yes.
Clever. Now, I'm curious about this other type of learning the source mentions. Cognitive learning.
Uh-huh.
It seems like a little bit more internal,
Yes.
less about those external rewards and more about how we're processing information in our minds. How would a company tap into that?
So cognitive learning is all about developing problem-solving skills,
Okay.
critical thinking,
Yeah.
and then that ability to apply knowledge in new situations.
Hmm.
Think about a company that encourages employees to take on challenging projects,
Yeah.
or maybe provides opportunities for employees to lead brainstorming sessions.
Right.
These experiences really foster cognitive growth.
It's almost like they're pushing employees out of their comfort zone a little bit, giving them the space to kind of grapple with those more complex problems.
Yeah.
And that helps them develop those crucial cognitive skills.
Exactly. And, it ties into another type of learning,
Yeah.
self-directed learning. Companies are really realizing the value of employees who are proactive
Uh-huh.
about their own development,
Yeah.
seeking out information,
Right.
setting their own learning goals,
Right.
and just taking ownership over their skill set.
That really resonates with me because
Yeah.
it's that feeling of being intrinsically motivated to learn,
Yes.
not because someone is forcing you to, but because you genuinely want to grow and expand your knowledge.
Exactly. And for businesses, fostering that intrinsic motivation is key. They can do this by providing access to online learning platforms,
Right.
encouraging participation in those industry conferences,
Yeah.
or maybe even offering tuition reimbursement for employees
Yeah.
who want to pursue further education.
It's a win-win, really.
Yeah.
Employees feel empowered to
Yeah.
take charge of their learning,
Uh-huh.
and then the companies benefit from that more engaged and skilled workforce.
Absolutely.
But you know what? There's still one more type of learning from the source we haven't touched on yet.
You're talking about experiential learning.
Exactly.
That learning by doing,
Yes.
rolling up your sleeves
Yes.
and diving into those real-world experiences.
That seems especially relevant today in such a fast-paced work environment.
Yes.
How are companies actually putting this type of learning into practice?
Think about internships, apprenticeships, job rotations, even simulations,
Yeah.
role-playing exercises.
Yeah.
These all provide employees with those opportunities
Right.
to apply what they've learned in a practical setting.
It's about bridging that gap between theory and practice.
Yeah.
Taking those concepts we've been discussing and putting them to the test in the real world.
Exactly. And it's not just about those hard skills either.
Okay.
Experiential learning also helps employees build their confidence, develop their problem-solving abilities,
Right.
and learn how to collaborate effectively.
Okay, so we've gone from the basic definition of learning to actually exploring 5 different types that businesses are using.
Yeah.
Operant conditioning,
Yeah.
observational learning, cognitive learning, self-directed learning, and experiential learning. It's incredible how much thought goes into creating a learning-focused environment.
Yeah, we really only just scratched the surface.
I know.
There's a whole world of learning theories that help explain how these different types of learning actually occur.
Okay, so now we're getting into the how behind the what.
Exactly.
This is what I call a deep dive. Are you ready to unpack some theories?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll save that for part 2 of our deep dive. See you then. All right, so we've laid the groundwork. We've explored kind of what learning is, the different ways companies are using it.
Yes.
But now I want to dive into the how does this learning stuff actually happen in our brains? I know the source material talks about some pretty big learning theories.
Right.
So,
Let's unpack them.
yeah.
We can start with one that you might remember from Psych 101,
Okay.
classical conditioning.
Oh, yes. Pavlov and his dogs.
Yeah,
Didn't he make those dogs drool at the sound of a bell?
exactly. He paired the bell, a neutral stimulus, with food,
All right.
which of course naturally makes dogs salivate.
Yeah.
Over time, those dogs, they started associating the bell with the food,
Uh-huh.
and they would drool even without the food present.
So they learned to respond to the bell in the same way.
Exactly.
They would respond to the food itself.
Yes.
Fascinating. But how does this apply to, humans in a workplace setting?
Okay. Yeah.
I don't see my boss walking around ringing a bell with a bag of treats.
Well, maybe not treat.
Right.
But think about it. Companies use cues all the time to evoke certain feelings or behaviors,
Okay.
like upbeat music in a store
Yeah.
to encourage shoppers to spend more,
Right.
or those catchy jingles we can't get out of our heads that make us crave a certain product.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
It's about creating those associations in our minds, even if we're not consciously aware of it.
Exactly.
So classical conditioning, it's not just for dogs and drool after all.
Nope.
What about some of these other theories?
Well, let's move on to operant conditioning.
Okay.
This time, instead of associating stimuli,
Huh?
this theory is all about how consequences shape our behavior. Remember, B.F. Skinner
Mm-hmm.
and his rats,
Yeah.
they learned to press a lever to get a food pellet. A classic example of,
The reward system.
yeah, positive reinforcement.
Makes sense. You give someone a cookie for a job well done,
Right.
they're more likely to do it again.
Absolutely.
But what about when things go wrong?
Well, that's where negative reinforcement or punishment comes in.
Okay.
So negative reinforcement,
Uh-huh.
it's about removing something unpleasant to encourage a behavior.
Ah.
Think about hitting the snooze button to stop your alarm clock's annoying buzzing.
The sweet relief of silence.
Exactly.
That's a good example.
Yeah.
And punishment, I'm guessing that's like getting a write-up at work
Yeah.
for missing a deadline.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely not as enjoyable as a cookie, that's for sure.
No.
Makes you think twice about repeating that behavior.
Exactly. Companies use a mix of all these techniques. Rewards, removing unpleasant consequences, and sometimes, yeah, even punishments to try and nudge employees toward those desired behaviors.
Okay, so we've got the carrot and the stick approach with operant conditioning.
Right.
But what about, the thought processes that are happening behind the scenes? The source material also talks about something called cognitive theory.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
Cognitive theory dives into those internal mental processes.
Oh.
It's about how we acquire knowledge, solve problems, and make those decisions.
Okay.
You remember that example in the source about learning to tell time?
Yes. That was in the first part of our deep dive.
Yes.
And I remember thinking, wow, there's a whole mental process I had to go through as a kid to understand how those hands on the clock actually relate to time.
Exactly. It wasn't just someone rewarding you for telling the time correctly.
Yeah.
It was about you internalizing those concepts.
Right.
Making connections, building a mental model
Right.
of how time actually works.
And in a work setting, I'm imagining this is crucial for things like, analyzing data,
Yes.
coming up with a marketing strategy,
Absolutely.
or even, troubleshooting a technical issue.
Yeah.
It's not just about rote memorization or
Right.
following instructions.
Right.
It's about higher level thinking.
Exactly.
So I guess companies should be giving their employees a challenging puzzle to solve
Yes.
instead of just a list of steps to follow. Got it. Okay, now there's one last theory from the source I want to touch on. Social learning theory. I feel like we already dipped our toes into this with observational learning, right?
You're right.
Yep.
Social learning theory, it expands on that idea,
Okay.
emphasizing how we learn from watching others, their behaviors,
Mhm.
and then the consequences of those behaviors.
Okay. So if I see my coworker getting praised
Hmm.
for taking initiative on a project,
Yeah.
I might be more inclined to do the same thing.
Right.
Monkey see, monkey do.
It's not quite that simple.
Okay.
Social learning, it involves 4 key processes.
Okay.
Attention, retention, reproduction, and then motivation.
Break that down for me.
Okay, so first you have to pay attention to the model's behavior.
Okay.
Then you need to retain that information.
Uh-huh.
Next, you need to be able to reproduce the behavior.
Right.
And finally, you need to be motivated to do so,
Okay.
which, that often comes from seeing the model being rewarded or experiencing those positive consequences yourself.
So it's not just blindly copying, it's a whole mental dance of observing,
That kind
processing, and then deciding, okay, am I going to try this myself?
Right.
I'm guessing this is where things like mentorship programs come in,
Yes.
providing those positive role models
Actually,
for
certainly do.
employees to learn from.
Mentorship, apprenticeships,
Yeah.
even just a supportive team environment where people feel comfortable sharing their knowledge and learning from each other.
Right.
These all tap into the power of social learning.
Okay, wow. We have really gone deep into the science of how learning happens. From, drooling dogs to rat mazes to the intricate workings of our own minds. It's pretty amazing, right?
Yes.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
It's fascinating, isn't it? It's just that we haven't even touched on how technology is changing the learning landscape.
Oh, right. And that's where the source material hinted at something called e-learning.
Yes.
I'm very curious to explore that further.
Yeah.
Especially since it seems like everything is moving online these days, right?
It is.
So it's a whole new world of learning possibilities.
It is.
And we'll dive into that in the final part of our deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground,
Yeah.
from the basic definition of learning to different types, and even the fascinating theories behind how our brains actually learn.
Right.
But now let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk about something that's really transforming the learning landscape, technology.
Yeah, it's amazing how technology is changing everything, including how we learn.
Mm-hmm.
The source material touches on e-learning, which basically encompasses
Right.
any type of learning that happens online.
E-learning, it's everywhere these days.
Yeah.
From online courses, webinars, to virtual simulations, and even those mobile learning apps,
Right.
the ones that help you pick up a new language or skill on your commute.
Yeah.
What is driving this massive shift toward e-learning, especially in the business world?
Well, the source highlights some key advantages. For starters,
Okay.
e-learning can be much more cost-effective than traditional in-person training.
Right.
Companies can save money on travel expenses,
Makes sense.
venue rentals, printed materials,
Right.
the whole 9 yards.
The whole shebang. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And for employees, I imagine that the flexibility and convenience of e-learning is a huge draw.
Right.
I mean, you can learn at your own pace, on your own schedule, and from wherever you happen to be.
Exactly.
No need to block out a whole day or travel to a specific location.
Right.
You can squeeze in a quick lesson during your lunch break or catch up on a course module while you're on the go.
Yeah.
It's like learning has become so much more accessible,
Yeah.
which is pretty exciting. I bet e-learning is also great for accommodating different learning styles and preferences.
You're right. E-learning platforms often offer a variety of formats, from text and video to interactive exercises.
Okay, gamified elements, right.
Yeah, to keep things engaging.
I have to admit, I'm a sucker for a good game. It's amazing how something as simple as earning points or badges
Right.
can make learning feel less like work and more like fun.
Yeah, it's all about tapping into those intrinsic motivators, making the learning experience more enjoyable and rewarding.
Now, I'm curious about something.
Yeah.
One of the potential downsides of online learning I've always wondered about
Okay.
is the lack of personalized support.
Uh-huh.
How do e-learning platforms address that?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
E-learning platforms are getting increasingly sophisticated in how they offer support.
Okay.
Many of them have features like online forums,
Yeah.
discussion boards, and even live chat functions
Oh, okay.
where you can connect with instructors or other learners.
So you're not just left to fend for yourself in the vast digital wilderness.
Yes.
There are actually systems in place to help you
Sure.
if you get stuck or have questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as technology continues to evolve, we can expect even more innovative approaches to personalized support in e-learning.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities.
Yeah.
So we've gone from, Pavlov's dogs,
Yeah.
Skinner's rats, to
Yeah.
the digital age of e-learning.
Right.
What does this all mean for us as learners in today's world?
I think it means we have an unprecedented opportunity to take control of our own learning journeys.
Right.
We have access to a wealth of knowledge
So much.
and skills at our fingertips,
Yeah.
and it's up to us to be proactive
Right.
and make the most of it.
It is empowering, but it can also feel a little overwhelming.
Yes, definitely.
So many options available.
Right.
It's hard to know where to even begin.
That's true. But I think the key is to be curious,
Okay.
to identify your learning goals, and then to explore the resources and platforms that best align with your needs and interests.
And maybe not be afraid to experiment a little.
Exactly.
Try a new app, sign up for an online course, attend a virtual workshop.
Right.
You never know what might spark your passion for learning.
Exactly. Learning should be an adventure, a journey of discovery and growth.
Well said. As we wrap up this deep dive into the world of learning,
Okay.
I'm left with one final thought. We've explored how businesses use learning to shape behavior and improve performance. But ultimately, learning is a personal journey,
It is.
a process of self-discovery and growth.
I couldn't agree more. It's about expanding our minds,
Right.
acquiring new skills, and becoming more well-rounded individuals.
So to our listeners out there,
Yeah.
I encourage you to embrace the joy of learning,
Yes.
whether it's through a traditional classroom setting, an online course, or simply by being curious and observant in your daily life. Never stop exploring. Never stop growing.
And remember, learning is not just a means to an end.
Right.
It's a reward in itself.
Beautifully put. That's a perfect note to end on.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of learning.
It was fun.
Until next time, keep those minds engaged and those learning fires burning.